Davonzell, yeah, thank you for taking the time. Before we get into the fight, I'd like to, get into your background a little bit. I know you told me that you're from the south side of Chicago. Talk to the fans a little bit about where you're from, how you ended up in Minnesota slash Wisconsin.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm from Chicago. I was born and raised out there. I came to Minnesota back in 2013 when I was 16. So yeah, I've been out here ever since then. I actually came to Wisconsin about 2 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, I had moved out here and stuff. Yeah, but I was at Minnesota for about, yeah, I want to say about 8, 9 years
Yeah,
from
I know.
2013 to yeah, all the way to now. So yeah, I was 2021. I mean, so yeah. So
Okay.
yes, my background basically, man, growing up in Chicago was rough. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of fighting, getting in trouble, and that's really what led me to boxing because I really I really like fighting. I like the fighting group. I didn't like it like growing up when I was like little, but I started to like as when you were in Chicago, it's like you gotta adapt to the environment of it. So it's like we was moving from south side to east side. So I went to school over there on the south side. I did the elementary school on the south side. I went to high school on the south side, and I went to elementary school on the east side. So we just moving back and forth, southeast, southeast. So yeah, but that's what really got me into boxing, just the growing up violently in Chicago, basically. A lot of fights and, had to basically, they call it the jungle. So you have to survive in the jungle.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah.
How old were you when you started boxing, and why boxing? Like, what brought you into boxing specifically? How did you get into it?
My dad used to box, and my grandfather used to box too. So my daddy really introduced me to it when I was a child, and it's just at the time I just wasn't mature enough for it yet. So then I ended up was boxing in Chicago when I was about 12 years old too. He took me to a boxing gym. And it was funny because I remember when the coach that I had, he just was teaching me the same stuff. He just was doing the same thing. And he was like, I was like, man, am I gonna learn something new? As a kid, you gotta be interactive with the child a little bit. My attention span was like everywhere, so it's like I got bored of it and I told my dad I didn't want to go no more. And then that's when I ended up getting back into it when I was 19. And ever since then, I just been sticking with it. It's something that I enjoy doing. I love the fight and stuff, but I just didn't have the mature mindset or like the hard work and discipline and everything that came with it. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you said around the age of 19 you got back into it. Was that here in Minnesota then, or would you?
Yeah, that was here in Minnesota. Yeah, right,
Okay.
right.
So let's talk about that then. Some of how you first started here in Minnesota, who you worked with and stuff, and I guess talk a little bit more about the gyms and your coaches that you've had here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I used to train over. I had my first coach I trained out of was Uppercut Boxing Gym. I don't know if you remember that boxing gym. I used to be open up. I
Yep.
had my coach Elliot. We was training because first before all that, I used to be training at the LA Fitness. I used to go up there train and stuff. I was like, dang, because I didn't know there was no boxing gyms around. Because like I said, I'm not from Minnesota, so I didn't really know like no connections or nothing. So I was just like, dang, I want to get into this. So I was just telling my dad and stuff. I was doing the boxing stuff. I just used to hit the bag and I do some sparring at the LA Fitness. I had some guys. It was my weight division. Some was heavy, and they'll be like, man, we finna just do some sparring up here. I bought my mouthpiece and my headgear, and we'd spar first, and then we hit the bag, and then I'd be like, all right, damn. That's when I met this one guy. He was actually a boxer, uppercut. And he was like, yeah, man, I got the real boxing gym you can go to. I was like, for real? He said, yeah, you can compete. I was like, all right, bet. So I ran into there. I met Lisa. I don't know if you know who that is. I met
Oh, for
her.
sure.
That's when she was asking, do I really want to do this? And I was like, yeah, I'm serious about it. So I was doing it. She said, do you want to do it or the class or you want to compete? I said, I want to compete. I
Yeah.
said, I want to be in here. I already knew the first mindset when I came into boxing again is I want to be a world champion. That was always my main goal was to be the professional and be a world champion. So I told her my goals. She said, okay. So she was like, you can get you started, with the amateur stuff. So after that, I had met Elliot. So we was doing, what's the name? He was helping me out. I had like 2 fights with him. And then, no, actually 3, my fault. I had 3 fights with Elliot. And that's when I ended up believing the gym, because I seen that something was closer to my house. I used to travel from all the way to Minneapolis, St. Paul to Minneapolis. So I stayed over there on Como Street. So I used to travel about like an hour away from to the gym. So I used to be, man, it used to be cold outside. I'm talking about, I didn't want to bust off for hours.
Yeah.
Like, that's how much I was dedicated to the sport. Like, people was like, wow, like, you get on the bus from here to there. Like, Elliot was shocked. It was like, man, like, you really want this? I'm like, yeah. Like, it was times I had to wait like 2 or 3 hours for the bus to get there, because
Wow.
I just was a scholar. So yes, and that's when I met Cericio. He was my next coach. I met him, I want to say, at my 3rd amateur fight. He liked how I fought. He was like, man, I like how you fight, man. That's when Uppercut was about to close down.
Yeah.
Man, he was like, man, you could come to my gym and everything like that. Bam. So I ended up hooking up with him. So I went over there because I found some closer. I was only like 15 minutes away from Uppercut gym. I mean, from Cericio gym. It's a boxing gym. And then I ended up going over there. And then once I ended up going, he asked me, he was like, what you want to do out of this? I told him I want to be a world champion. I want to be a professional fighter. And I just want to get this amateur experience. And, out the bam. I said, I didn't really care too much about the amateurs like that. I just wanted to do it just to get the experience. He was like, okay. So I was working with him. We did fights. I did the Golden Gloves tournaments with him. I did a lot of showbout shows. I did the USA Nationals with him, and I did the Upper Midwest, and I did the Golden Glove States. So in that time being, I was getting a lot of experience from a lot of tough opponents and the amateurs. They had a lot of experience over me. So it was a good little run. So I took it for what it was. And then that's when I ended up, after that, I ended up coming out here to Peekaboo Boxing Gym. I want to say right after the USA Nationals, like a year later after that, I ended up coming out here because I seen it was closer to my place that I was staying at.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you guys'
Yeah.
relationship. How did you meet up? Did you know each other, Boyd? Talk about your relationship.
No, actually, I didn't know him, but I do remember him when I had like my 10th fight in the amateurs at a showbout. So I don't know if I don't know if he remembered me. So when I told him I fought, I told him I had fought, what's it called? And I fought this top guy in the fights. He was like, I don't know, I didn't remember who you was.
On my show.
Yeah, I was the main event. Yeah, I was the main event on that show. I was the main event. And he was like, nah, I don't even remember it. So I tell you, he was like, oh, that was you? Because I look different from then now. So
Okay.
yeah, so I ended up fighting on that show. But I actually didn't know him personally. So I ended up meeting him again. I ended up giving him a call, his gym and everything, and told him like what my goals is, what I wanted to do. And I asked him, can he train me? He asked me, do I want to do the amateur stuff or the pro? I said, I'm doing the professional stuff. So he was like, okay. So we ended up just taking it from there.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a year ago. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I know your pro debut. You fought Michael Giocondo.
Yes.
Yes. You want to, I guess, talk about that fight? What were your thoughts going into it? Obviously making the jump to the pros and during it, your performance, just the whole experience. Let's summarize that a little bit.
The jump from the pros, from the amateurs to the pros, it was just like it was a big jump because but it wasn't too much because it's like in the amateurs I already had like a pro type of style to me because I was sparring a lot of professionals when I was in the amateurs, and my natural style was just a pro type of style. I don't know. Some people have it, some people don't. So I don't know if you ever heard of that before too. So people be saying they have like type of pro styles and stuff or amateur styles. So I had that type of style already. So from the jump on it, it was nervous. I was nervous, but it was a good experience. I learned a lot that fight. I felt like fighting him taught me a lot because he had already had 3 fights over me. He had a good experience, and I learned a lot. I learned that I learned more about my skills and more about myself and what I can do to improve and my abilities, what I can do and what I can't do, what I can do, things like that. So it was it was a good experience. It was a great experience. It was a great experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Mhm.
been, what has it been, about a year, right? Since, yeah, 2022.
Mhm.
You're jumping there now. I'd like to get to this fighter now a little bit. Jason Komanekin Jr. He looks
Yeah.
like a good fighter. Talk about taking this fight, how it came about,
Mhm.
and your thoughts about taking, what stands out to me is just that, you don't see a main event like this between two good fighters that are just starting out like this.
Yeah.
Usually you build this
Yeah.
up. This is kind of
Yeah.
unique, and I think I like it. What are your thoughts on this fight? Why did you take the fight?
My thoughts on the fight is I'm ready. I'm confident in myself. I'm ready to show the doubters and the people that been sleeping on me. They've been underestimating me. I'm ready to make a name and make a statement. The fight itself, I take the fight? I took the fight because I felt like he was competition on my level, and I felt like I can beat him, and I felt like it was a good competition fight. I was like, he's 2-0. That's perfect because I want to fight nothing but the best fighters out here. So this is what I'm in this for. So that's what I was like, man. I don't want to fight no anybody. I'm like, he got a good bag and he got a good name. I want to fight him. He's on my level. He's not too much, not above my level. He's right at the same level as me. We got the good amount of experience. So I'm like, why not? I want the fight. I want to take this fight. So I was like, yeah. I feel confident in myself and knowing that I'm going to do, and I am going to win on December 9th.
Yeah. Have you seen him fight? Have you seen him in person on video? Do you know anything about him that you can tell us about?
Yes, I seen the video on YouTube, yeah, but I really can't go off that because he was stopping both his opponents so fast. So I really can't really base anything off that. And then I just like to just go in there and just see to make the adjustments on fight night because anybody can change up their style and do something different. So it's always good to just make adjustments to own a fight when you're fighting the night of. So that's what I like to do. So anything he's bringing, I'm going to be ready for because I've been working my ass off, practicing and training. Even before the camp even started, I was in the gym training, practicing because I was supposed to fight back in May and some things ended up going left with that. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I've just been here now, just been standing in the gym. I'm a gym rat. I always practice on my skills and just getting better and better. That's my main thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I guess talk a little bit about your style. What can fans that are going to be watching this fight expect from you? How would you describe yourself as a fighter?
What can the fans expect? This expect it's gonna be real surprising. I don't want to say too much. There's
Okay.
no if it's gonna be fireworks though. It's gonna be fireworks. They're gonna expect a great me. Just know that I'm gonna shock a lot of people. So I don't want to get too much about. But could you ask the other question that you just asked too?
Just basically the style of your fight, like that you are as a fighter. How would you describe yourself? Like, boxer, puncher, speedy, like, just describe yourself as a fighter.
I feel like I'm more of a boxer puncher. I'm a boxer puncher. Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like I'm one of those styles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not the too quick, too speedy. I'm more of explosive
Okay.
boxer puncher type of
Okay.
thug.
So
Yeah,
like
that I'm learning. Yeah, I'm learning. Yeah,
we
yeah,
can expect an explosive fighter then is what you're saying.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But it's gonna be a great fight though. It's gonna be a lot of fireworks. Great fight, great fight. And the opponent, yeah, he is a great opponent. I like his style and everything. I checked him out a little bit, but like I said, I don't really know too much on him like that. I just know that he is competition, and that's why I took the fight. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like he's got a big following already. Has any thoughts on that? We always ask this, if you're going to go to another
Mhm.
state, does that go through your mind? Is that something you're worried about, or you just straight up
No,
concentrating on what your game plan?
No, I'm on contract when my game plan is and just believing in myself and my abilities, what I know that I put in and properly prepare myself for these last 9 weeks of camp. So I
Yeah.
don't have no doubt in my mind about anything.
Yeah. You don't want to look past anything. Obviously, we're not looking past this fight.
No,
You are
no.
scheduled to fight in March. Is there anything, like we talked about off camera about, the big fighters, you see the Jamal Jameses and the Caleb Truexes they always cleaned out their backyard, always fought the best locally. Is there anybody around here that you'd like to fight in your weight class or on your weight class? Anything like that?
Mhm. Not right now, no, because I still gotta get my feet wet a little bit. So I still like wanna get my groove on a little bit with that more. I do know I wanna fight the best fights out here, but I don't wanna give out no names yet because I'm still slowly working and what's the name. So I'm gonna say that question for you when we have another interview. I
Okay, so
got you.
we've got an answer, but that's to come. You're gonna tell us that
Yes,
later.
yes,
Yes.
yes. Yeah. Because I'm still like, getting my feet wet, and I'm still taking my time and everything. I don't like to rush anything,
Okay.
especially when it come down to the pro stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Weight classes. You wanted to talk a little about weight classes. What's your plans in the
Yes.
future now? Yeah. Let us know about
Yeah.
what your thoughts are.
My plans for the future is after 5 fights, I was thinking I either wanted to stay at 35 or 30 to go up to chase the belts, like start working my way up to start chasing the belts. Either it'll be 30 or 35. I'm not really sure yet. I haven't made up my mind. So after my fourth fight, I would know a better answer from that. But
Okay.
that's the goal after that.
Yeah.
Because I set little small goals each time, so I like to take one fight at a time. I like to set little small goals. So right now, my thing is get to 4-0, 5-0, boom, and then next thing you know, see what weight class I want to be in and start chasing the belts. To start building my way up and start chasing the belts from there. What weight class I want to actually stay in to see which one I'm gonna be in and want to chase the belts in.
Okay.
So yeah, I haven't decided yet, but it might be probably 35 though. I'm thinking probably 35, depending on how my body feel, if I get more bigger and everything like that. But for right now, I don't really know. That's why I say I have to see after 5 fights how I
Yeah.
feel. Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, that's what I got for you. Actually, you know what I got? I just want to ask you, 4 rounder.
Yeah.
This is a 4 rounder. What are your thoughts
Yeah.
on that? I know you've got to get started in a 4 rounder really fast. Do you
Yeah.
like the fact, or are you wishing there were more rounds, or what are you thinking on that?
No, I just go out there and what I'm saying, I'm gonna take my time and and fight my fight. I don't just because it's a speedy 4 round quick fight. I don't mean I'm gonna make it with speedy or quick. I'm gonna go out there, take my time, and do what I need to do. Everything I've been practicing on and working on in the gym, listening to my team and to my coach and everything. And yeah, going out there and just taking care of business and getting a victory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know you got to get training, get ready to take care of business. What would
Yeah.
you like to
Yeah.
say to what would you like to say to your fans? Anybody else that's going to be watching this?
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
I would like to just tell them just stay tuned and just next up. I'm on my way up, working my way up to the top. The Jaguar, Davonzell Patterson. They're gonna just know on December 9th, they're gonna see a lot of fireworks. So yeah, that's what I like to say to my fans that follow me on DZP underscore Jaguar on Instagram. They can follow my business page, Davonzell Patterson. And yeah, that just know that I'm up and coming. I'm up and coming. So I'm gonna make a big name for myself.
Awesome.
So
Well, it
yeah,
sounds good. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Best wishes on
yeah,
wrapping up camp and fight
yeah,
night.
yeah, yeah. Appreciate you. Appreciate it.
Right on. Sounds good. I will talk to you soon. Thank you.
Yeah.